Hi there, my name is Giulio, I am CEO and co-founder at WMind. In today's session, we're going to talk about how NGOs can use artificial intelligence today to increase donor conversion on a wide range of activities and appeals. Leads conversion appeals, direct mail, telemarketing, one-off to regular, and much more. I will present GiveRank, the artificial intelligence developed by our data scientists at WMind, created specifically to increase redemption in fundraising. WMind is a data science company specialized in fundraising, based in Rome, Italy. We will also share the result of a recent implementation of our GiveRank algorithm in a middle-sized NGO that wanted to increase leads redemption. If you're interested in increasing donors redemption at your organization using artificial intelligence, don't miss our session. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you there.
So a few words about Giulio. He is the CEO and co-founder of WMind. What the organization is doing is quite exciting. So they specialize in things like deep learning and creating algorithms that can help the fundraising sector basically do more and do better with its database. But I'll let him speak a little bit more about that. What impressed me very much when I first came into contact with Giulio and also reading a little bit about his team is the background. So they started in 2017, and the company is actually formed on the basis of a network that consists of specialists and a variety of professionals from both the University of Cambridge and also from the Università, I think, Sapienza, if I'm not mistaken, in Rome.
Yeah.
So it's really a collection of brilliant minds that have experience both in the industry as well as in the scientific world. I think that the marriage of the two is really great. So without further ado, I'm really going to give the floor now to Giulio because he is the star of the show. And Giulio, please go ahead and share your screen and get started with your pitch because we really can't wait to hear more about GiveRank and about what you submitted to Reimagining Fundraising this year.
So thanks for those who could connect, and I'll start with my pitch right away. So I'd like you to imagine a fundraiser called Francesca. And Francesca is a fundraiser for an NGO that helps disabled elderly live a better life. And she is pretty great with her team in digital fundraising. They have a great website, great social media strategy. And the results are really paying off. She's able to gather more than 300,000 leads every year for a fairly low budget. So that's really great. So where's the catch? Every time she tries to convert these leads into donors, things go the wrong way. Leads never donated for the organization, right? So we have no donation history. For this reason, Francesca and her team cannot use the classic recency, frequency, and monetary value model to extract the list of best leads to send their physical mail, their email, telemarketing, and so on and so forth. So she has to go randomly. She has to extract random lists, alphabetical lists, or mass, send an email to everyone, or call every one of these hundreds of thousands of leads. The result, you can imagine, low redemption and obviously low return on investment. Even emails are costly today. Sending 1 million email can even cost up to $10,000 for an organization at the end of the year. So the activity yields low return on investment. It was going to be a source of growth. It becomes a burden. It's for this reason that we created GiveRank. GiveRank, it's a powerful artificial intelligence. It's a machine learning algorithm specifically created to increase redemption in fundraising. It has been created by our team of data scientists at WMind. We are an analytics and data science firm specializing in fundraising based in Rome, Italy. And the sole scope of GiveRank is to increase redemption in appeals. So how can it help? It dramatically increases leads redemption by indicating which individuals are more likely to convert even before they donate for the first time, even before they make their first donation to the NGO. it sounds like black magic, right? It sounds crazy and cocky. So let's see, how does GiveRank actually work? So leads never donated, that's correct. But nevertheless, they leave traces of their interactions with the NGO that get stored within the CRM, within the database. We can call these traces the digital behavior of the lead. And of course, the two main sources are email interaction and website interaction, right? Which emails are they opening? What is the topic? Website, what pages are they looking at? How long are they staying? Did they click on any button? What time of the day did they log in? And of course, for current leads, we have no donation data. But for past leads, let's say the last 2 or 1 year of the organization, we have a sort of donation data. We know which leads eventually converted, and we also know which leads never converted. GiveRank analyzes all this wealth of data, this past behavior, and it learns the pattern that predicts a donation in a lead. What does this mean for an organization? It means that when new leads come in, let's say I have 20,000 leads, they have been new leads, they've been for 2 months in the organization, they've been reading emails, maybe not reading them, who knows? GiveRank can read those traces and assign each of them a redemption probability with a good accuracy. So it says, this guy really looks like those other 20 guys that converted 2 years ago, because he's doing the same thing on the website, the same thing on email. I think he will convert. And in fact, many times these people convert. So I'd like to share some results of a test we did for GiveRank. On the left, the redemption rate of leads of 10,000 leads randomly extracted, and the redemption rate after an email marketing cycle was 0.4. The 10,000 leads extracted by GiveRank, 6 times the redemption rate, 2.4%. Many organizations tells us, this is great, but leads is not my primary objective. I'd like to increase redemption on direct mail for my active or lapsed users, on telemarketing, one-off to regular, for instance. Can artificial intelligence help? Is it better than recency, frequency, and monetary? The answer is yes, and we would love to show you some case studies we've done in the past. Just to wrap it up, Francesca can now unleash the full power of her leads pool, the full power of her data, thanks to GiveRank and artificial intelligence. This means more money for people who are very much in need. And we would love to work with more organizations from Reimagining Fundraising to scale together GiveRank and help, I believe, millions more people with the flip of a switch, connecting technology and fundraising. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Giulio. Thank you very much. You've also sort of kept within the time frame, and you'll need to do it all over again in just a few minutes. Yeah. But glad to see so much excitement on your side, and this is truly a very interesting concept, and the fact that it's proven also means very much. So I hope that some of the people watching us here today actually take the time to contact you directly and to ask you more about the use cases that you just presented, as well as to see, how can we really valorize the technology that you've built here. So I think that's really, really cool. Now, something that I've, just to kick us off sort of with the Q&A, something that I've been thinking about as you were running through your presentation, I mean, you're setting out to replace the data scientist essentially. So maybe those that might be hired by organizations or those that might reside within organizations. How do you feel about that responsibility? So is it a little bit like man versus machine, or is it more like machine enhances what humans could actually do with this data?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think there are a lot of layers, a lot of perspective on these issues. So one is, in the end, everything that gets automated. So let's say that every year, every 6 months, we make the model better. We start also to predict how much we can ask. We start to improve the existing model. We improve the existing models, and we create new predictive models to make results even better. And these things becomes automatic at a certain point. They become purely machine, but it's people who have to write these algorithms at first, and are only line of costs in our company, it's people. And this line is increasing every year, likely because we need more people to invent, basically. And on the fundraising side, I had this fear as well. But then our biggest allies in NGOs have been exactly the people who, until last year, have been doing this sort of analysis manually, and they're telling us, this is great because now I imagine, because I see they're happy, and I imagine it must be because now they can focus on other problems that only a person who works within the organization can solve. Maybe building a new technology infrastructure, restructuring the database, doing other analyses that are too confidential. So they can now really focus on that and don't have to work on these issues with results that then they're not too happy with, because you need a specialist, you need an artificial intelligence, so on and so forth. So I think that even if it makes sense to see it as man versus machine, the things are more like man plus machine in a way until now. This has been my experience.
Right, great. No, I'm very satisfied with that answer. I really do think that any technology that enables NGOs or INGOs to work on other things that matter is truly beneficial, especially since, even now with the pandemic, they've had to take very quick decisions in some instances, and maybe this can just help enhance those decisions. We're getting some questions into the chat, and I'll just immediately refer to that question. So, hi, Garrett. Thank you for joining us in the live session. So Garrett is from Plan International, and he's wondering if your current AI code or model has been tested in non-European markets. So just for you to see if the results are the same. I remember that you had actually been testing this, right, for about 3 years with various databases. So maybe if you could comment a little bit on that.
Absolutely. So the answer is yes. I believe that it can be used. We never worked with an organization outside of Europe until now, but I have just a backup slide that I think would be useful to understand why I think it would work at every geography and with every language. So this is in Italian. These labels are in Italian, so don't mind the labels. But this is the model in the head of the artificial intelligence after 2 months of analyzing the data. And each label, it's a variable in the CRM, and every bar, it's a weight. So this label is very important. This is half importance, so on and so forth. So, and this is another model. As you can see, different labels, slightly different pattern, right? So this is just to show that our model and our engineers are absolutely agnostic, and they just work with the math, and math is universal. What do I mean by that? I mean that we could take a database that is in Chinese and do not know, neither us or the machine, what every label is, what kind of behavior is it describing, and just make sure that at the end the math works and the model can successfully predict redemption with a validation set. So everything works fine. But the point is, we don't have to even know the language the CRM is in, which can be a first barrier. We can work with sort of even basic data that most organizations would have, even middle-sized. We've been working with many middle-sized organizations that don't raise more than 3 to 5 millions. And thirdly, since it's an algorithm that we have to operate and then send back the list to the NGO, we can work with every CRM. So it's not that we just work with Salesforce or with Microsoft. If you're in China and you have a custom built CRM that nobody has ever seen, and all your labels are in Chinese or Portuguese or whatever language, that's fine. We just need a translator for that hour of data download, a translator for the end, or speak English, of course. But it's scalable, so that's something I can tell you about geographical scalability.
Yeah, awesome, thank you, Garrett. I hope that was sort of a satisfying answer from Giulio. And Giulio, I can already tell you that one of the reasons why you are today among the top 10 in Reimagining Fundraising is exactly because your solution was perceived as scalable, but also, innovative and so on. So congratulations for that. Maybe just another quick question, and then at 20 past, we can maybe begin with your presentation all over again. So, of course, now we're in the middle of a pandemic, and there's obviously less face time with donors. Potential connections, have been reduced. But how would you say that your solution will fare in a post-COVID world? Have you already thought about that? So, will it be just as relevant?
Yeah, I think so. What I personally think is that in terms of macroeconomics, if we look at history, like the history of what happened to our society, the 80s were great. There was a lot of money. People did a lot of money. There was money also in fundraising. Then the 2001, 2008 were like cold shower. Like things it's hard. It's hard to create money, to create value right now. And COVID, I think, like there's a weird teleology in this. COVID is confirming this trend of cold showers. So we really need to rediscuss things and to be as efficient as possible, really find innovations. There are no more gifts. There are no more gifts, which is fun to say in fundraising. And I think that reimagining fundraising is exactly the intuition that this is happening. So we need to reimagine, we need to rediscuss our things. So I think there will be space. People will look for efficiency. They will look to spend their money better. By people, I mean fundraisers. So I think it's gonna be something they would like to use after we recover from COVID.
Great. Yeah, I definitely think it's complementary, and I also think that you will probably keep improving your algorithms, and you will keep addressing your new use cases. I'm very confident in your solution. All right, so I think we can just wrap it up with this round of Q&A. I know it's kind of continuous fire here, but let's just maybe go take it from the top. I'll just take a few minutes to just say a few words to those that are maybe currently joining us in the room. We have Giulio Rosati with us in the room. He is the founder and CEO of WMind. He will present to you the proven concept that he has submitted for Reimagining Fundraising. Remember that he is one of the top 10 finalists, so please give him a big hand, because today it's all about the celebration of these solutions that are coming to the fundraising world and that will hopefully help fundraising experts everywhere do their jobs better, because that's what we're all hoping for. Giulio will take about 5 minutes to present his solution. So Giulio, you can even go a little bit slower if you'd like, because this time we have an entire block of 5 minutes. Afterwards, we will jump into the Q&A. So yeah, I think without further ado, the floor is again yours. And to everyone else, I look forward to your questions in the chat. We're unable to unmute you and to let you put your camera on because time is really short today, but I hope you'll still want to communicate with us in writing. So Giulio, please go ahead.
That's great, thank you. So let's picture together Francesca. Francesca is a fundraiser for an NGO that helps disabled elderly to live a better life. And she and her team, like many fundraisers, are great with digital, great website, great social media strategy. And the results are paying off. She's getting 300,000 new leads every year for a fairly low budget. So things are great, right? So where's the catch in all of this? She would love to convert these leads, some of these leads, into donors. But every time she has tried, things have gone the wrong way. What do I mean by that? Well, leads never donated. So it's impossible to extract the list of best leads using recency, frequency, and monetary value, the classic model of direct marketing and fundraising. So, Francesca doesn't want to give up on these leads, so she has to extract random lists, alphabetical lists, mass lists when she wants to do direct marketing. So send an email, send a physical mail, make a phone call if she has the phone number. And random, we know that random means also, unfortunately, low redemption and low return on investment, because even sending an email, it's pretty costly for an organization. So, so an activity that was going to be a source of growth becomes a burden for the organization. It is to solve this problem that we created GiveRank. So GiveRank, it's a powerful artificial intelligence, a machine learning algorithm, a set of machine learning algorithms designed specifically to increase redemption in fundraising. It was created by our data scientists and engineers at WMind. We are an analytics firm specializing in fundraising based in Rome, Italy. And how can GiveRank help in Francesca's story? Well, it dramatically increases leads redemption by understanding and indicating which individuals are more likely to become donors before they even donate for the first time. So this might sound like black magic, right? Or it might sound cocky or arrogant to say that. So let's see why this is not the case. How does the technology work? So leads never donated, absolutely. Nevertheless, they leave traces of their interaction, digital traces that get stored within the CRM of the organization. The source of these traces, of course, email and website. Which email did they open? At what time? What were the topics of those emails? What pages they visited on your website? At what time? In what season? And of course, for past leads and past leads only, 1, 2, 3 years old leads, in a way, we also have donation data in the sense that we know which leads eventually donated and which never donated. GiveRank takes all this data, correlates it, analyzes it, and learns the pattern, the traces that predicts a donation. With this predictive model in its head, he can score the leads of the organization, the newly acquired leads, and indicate a redemption probability. So let's say 10,000 new leads come in, they've been for 1 month in the organization, they got an email, they're interacting with the website. GiveRank will see their traces and will recognize which leads are behaving very similarly to those people who converted in the past. And it will indicate a high redemption probability. Francesca can send materials only to those people who have really high redemption probability. Let's share some results of a test we did for GiveRank. On the left, the redemption rate of a control group in an email marketing activity. So these are 10,000 people selected randomly, 10,000 leads, and this is the redemption to one-off after a few emails. On the right, the 10,000 people selected by GiveRank, 2.4% conversion, so an uplift of 6%. Sounds a lot, but remember, it's easy to beat random in a way when you have an artificial intelligence. Many organizations tells us, hey, leads is not my primary objective. Can you help me on increasing redemption on direct mail to my lapsed donors, my active donors, so on and so forth? The answer is yes. AI and GiveRank can do way better than RFM. We've done it several times these years with some great organizations. We'd love to show you the results in some further sessions. To wrap it up, now Francesca, using AI, using GiveRank, can unleash the full power of her leads pool, the full power of her data. This means to create more money nearly out of the blue for people who are very much in need. And we would love to scale GiveRank globally with the help and working with the organizations that are present today. It would allow us to help, I believe, millions more people with the flip of a switch, connecting technology and fundraising. Thank you very much.
Well done, Giulio. I really love your passion, and I'm pretty sure that with the help of some of the connections that you make today during Reimagining Fundraising, as well as with those that will watch the recording or that will, flip through the playbook that will be prepared, you will be able to achieve this skill and to help many more people valorize their databases. So thank you very much. We're just going to jump into the Q&A, and I wanted to ask you a first question around. For how long would you need to train this algorithm in order to give you reliable results? So is it that you can immediately analyze a database, or would you need to train it for several months or maybe even a year? What's your experience with that?
Yeah, so luckily the processing time is way shorter than that. if we are, if the organization is in a hurry, we can even do it in 1 month and a half, let's say, but the standard time it's 2 months. And that includes the pre-processing of the data, which is the longest part, and the training of the algorithm, which paradoxically enough, it's way shorter than all the time we spend to organize the data to be processed.
Yeah, that's great. And is it that you need specialists to be available in sort of your customer's organization, or I can be a non-specialist, so not a data scientist, and can still implement this? Or how does that work?
Yeah. So likely it's our solution demands a very low effort from the organization. So what does this mean? That usually every organization has a person that is in charge of analytics. Some smaller organization may have someone who does maybe some administrative part or financial part, and also does a little bit of analytics, or a marketing person that does a little bit of analytics. Usually this kind of a role has all the skills needed to do what we need, which is connect for 1 hour. It's a 1 hour phone call, and instruct this person on the data transfer that we need to do, download of a CSV file. That is really easy to do. So you know, it's low effort from the organization. All the organization will work with have a person that can help us with that, and so you know, it doesn't have this problem that might scare a lot of people to try a new solution.
Sure. No. Yeah. Very good. Because indeed, I think that a lot of people are scared that they might not have the necessary expertise in house, but that's exactly what you're trying to solve. So that lack of expertise, you know, by bringing in your solution to do the work. So that's fine. A few questions coming or keep coming through the chat. I will again read them out to you. So Claire thanks you first of all for the presentation, and kind of highlights the fact that your proven concept is indeed scalable globally. And then the question is, where do you see the biggest opportunity? So maybe industry-wise, or well, industry, of course, we're in fundraising, but maybe in certain geographies. So where do you see the biggest opportunities today in terms of deploying your proven concept?
Well, yeah, thanks for the question, Claire. Well, I can tell you right now we're trying to open in Spain. So if there's any Spanish NGO that's listening, like come knock to our door. We'd love you to be our the first organization we work with in Spain. Generally, I am from Italy. I studied and worked in the UK at first. So I find that perhaps the UK, Germany, Netherlands, you know, like higher GDP, higher productivity countries are already moving in mass towards AI of different forms. But I think the opportunity for everyone, the beneficiary, donors, fundraisers, technologists, is in those big countries that are still not quite there with productivity and technology. Italy, Spain. I might think of France that you know, it's mixed. Some people told me that they started using predictive analytics. Some people don't. So like our goal for now, for the next, let's say 3-5 years, is to you know, it's gonna sound you know, cocky in a way, but to revolutionize fundraising on this standpoint, of data analytics in this country of Southern Central Europe, if you will. So so to bring this technology where people are still not thinking about this technology, and in doing so, I think we can generate millions of euros per country, really, of money that are saved, not buying, you know, not sending too many emails, not sending too much mail, not making too much phone calls.
Yeah, not only that, but I think also a generally happier population, because we're around the holidays and we know very well what that means because we're flooded with all sorts of little, you know, pamphlets. And sometimes, I mean, it would be great, of course, if we were sent things that are more relevant to us and kind of more relatable to us. So I can also see that other side of the social. And thank you very much, Giulio, for your reply. Jumping to the next question, we have a comment from Ira. So thank you, Ira, for your comment. He or she is asking, how can we elevate the minimum data source? Now, I don't know if this refers to the parameters that you use to sort of analyze leads or potential leads or anything else. Ira, if you wouldn't mind elaborating a little bit, that would help. Otherwise, maybe you can intuitively tell what this is about.
Elevate the minimum dollar source. Well, while Ira, if I'm correct, writes some more details. So let's say that I think that the organization can already have a great redemption increase, a great benefit, only looking at, for instance, emails data, MailChimp, right? So we're talking about really even small scale stuff. And then if the things work, then the organization will have much more motive to also start tracking website interaction and match them with email data. So there's a bunch of providers that will help you, and we also do integrations of these softwares who help you to do that. So we're already starting with emails data. It's enough to feed an artificial intelligence. And then if you don't even have email data, for instance, the artificial intelligence work way better than recency, frequency, monetary value, even when just fed with donation data, for instance, not on leads, obviously, because we don't have that kind of data, but for instance, on a direct mail appeal, and you're like, we only have donation data, and maybe age and gender and address, of course. Is it enough, that data, to train the artificial intelligence and do better than recency, frequency? Yes, it is, and we have discovered it in the last couple of years working with many organizations that we're not tracking email very well, we're not tracking website at all, but they still could use the AI. So it's important to just start, I guess.
Yeah, very much so. Ira didn't write anything in the meantime, so maybe if anything comes back, I will definitely prompt you. So, speaking of the fact that sometimes you can work with very little data, I mean, do you also find yourself sometimes having to educate some of your customers as to how they should maintain their databases, what they should focus on, maybe elevating them a little bit if they don't focus on so many perhaps parameters? What's your experience with that?
Yeah, well, sometimes I think that we are not a technology firm, we are an education firm, because technology is important, but it's really important. And like, we have great data scientists, great engineers, but in the end, technology after some years becomes a commodity. It can be copied, right? So an organization wouldn't need us if they already had all the knowledge of what you could do. They would hire 2 or 3 data scientists and try to do the same thing once it's more clear after a few years how this is done. So like what I always say is, like, long term, we are more educators than technologists. So specifically my job, I work with clients, I do business development. It's mostly to slowly, and that sometimes might take even a year, educate, or like, sounds bad to say more, teach and explain and share what you can do with organizations. And I have to say that many organizations were starting with zero knowledge on AI. They were super established in the industry, and they were going, speaking at fundraising festival, at conventions. They were, like, the star of the class. They were really humble in the end, in learning from us, and in taking also the risk of trying these solutions. It really paid off, but I'm surprised and happy about the reaction we had by many organizations, at least in the Italian market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that must be a great experience, and I'm sure that as you will grow and maybe develop more offerings and so on, you'll probably find yourself again in this position. I believe very much in the power of networking and ecosystems growing together, so sort of partners elevating each other. So I think you're in a great position to do that for fundraising, for the fundraising sector overall. So that's great. I think we only have time for one more question. So maybe that can just be a question that wraps things up. I know that GiveRank is just one of the things that you are working with. Maybe if you could share something else about what you're working on, maybe a few perspectives about the future. I also know that you're hiring, you're expanding your teams, you're growing at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our focus right now is, I think, twofold. And one is to provide organizations with more and more models, whether they will be powered by GiveRank as you know, the AI engine, or whether we would use completely other machine learning algorithms, is to make new models to understand donors' behavior, to understand the future, and to generate more funds. What do I mean by that? Churn rate prediction, for instance, we can predict with 70% accuracy if a donor is gonna cancel his regular subscription. That is great. I mean, it has been proven that with just a phone call, you can reduce churn by 20% with the with the phone call before the person actually takes that decision. So I think that that's gonna be something we'll really work on next year. Something we're gonna share with all the organizations we work with. And there are so many other models. We can predict the ask that you should do. Should you ask for 20? Should you ask for 22? Can we optimize there? Yes, we can. In the end, once the logic is understood, there are so many possibilities. With AI, we can predict whatever number you want that we have data on. That can make you raise more money, in general, make better decisions. So this is one, and the other one is just helping organizations with infrastructure, allowing them to build the Salesmanago, Salesforce, HubSpot. There's so many great softwares to be able to do AI next year. In 5 years, I'd like to see all organizations in Italy, France, Spain, maybe some other nearby regions using predictive, like it was Facebook, or like they use Google, or like they use all these other new digital media that are no longer new.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we all know that data is the new gold, so I hope that people understand that they should definitely leverage the data that they have. That's wonderful, Giulio. Thank you so very much for your enthusiasm, for everything that you do. Big shout out to your entire team, to your co-founder. I think Francesco is his name as well. I don't know if you'll be watching, so we will send him the recording. And to everyone that joined us, thank you very much. You have Giulio's contacts here, but you will definitely hear about him. Again, you'll read about him in the playbook. You also still find him on the Reimagining Fundraising website. Thank you for joining us. To those of you that would like to head back to the main event, this is the moment to do so. Otherwise, thank you for your attention. And Giulio, we hope to stay in touch with you and to see how many NGOs can leverage your expertise. Thank you for
it has been a great experience. Thank you very much. And thanks to everyone that participated.